everyone, this is David from Automotive Press, and today I'm really excited to talk about the Lexus LX and the Lexus GX. First, let me show you the rendering which I just finished on the new Lexus LX, which is going to be a 2023 model year. The LX, just like the previous LX, is still based on the Land Cruiser, which have been revealed and leaked all over the internet. And so based on that information, plus my insight and wisdom that I have about Toyota and Lexus, I have now created what I think is a pretty accurate view of the Lexus LX. It might be called 570, it might be called 600, we don't know that yet. But so the rendering that you see here is based on the same body profile as the Land Cruiser. Obviously the front end is going to be pretty unique to the LX. Massive grille, the spindle grille of the Lexus, plus really slim headlights, obviously LEDs, and then very aggressive stance compared to maybe a previous LX. But otherwise, the side profile and the basic body structure is going to look very much like the Land Cruiser because the two are very much based on the same platform. Both based on TNGA-F platform, but more than any other models, the LX and the Land Cruiser share a very similar look and feel. And in fact, the powertrain, like engine, transmission, suspension, and so forth, are completely identical between the two. So everything that we've learned about the Land Cruiser also applied to the Lexus LX. That means the LX will also have the 3.5 twin-turbo V6 engine. It's called a 3.5, but actually it's a 3.444 liter engine with about 420 horsepower or so and maybe 440 foot-pounds of torque. That's the approximation at this point. You'll be identical to Land Cruiser. It might have a little bit more power and torque than the Land Cruiser, but otherwise identical engine. Twin-turbo V6, V8 is going to be gone. The V8 factory in Japan near Tahara and one in Alabama that's producing the V8 engine for the Tundra and also for the Land Cruiser and also for the LX are all going to be discontinuing that V8 engine. So it's not coming back, folks. I'm sorry about that. But the LX will use the twin-turbo V6 as a starting point. There will be a hybrid version also at some point that will come down the pipeline. We don't know whether that will be the identical hybrid to what's in the LS currently, which is a non-turbo V6 mated to motors, electric motors. That's the hybrid system that's in the Lexus LS. And either the LX will get the identical model of the engine, or it might get the twin-turbo plus electric motor hybrid system, which is unique for a new Lexus if it does come out, because it's presently not available in any of the models. But so that's the basic powertrain, still 10-speed automatic, fully independent suspension, obviously air suspension likely on the LX, and the interior and so forth will have the latest technology features. That's all the stuff we expect already. The interior will be quite different from the Land Cruiser, but the exterior body profile should be very, very similar. So the rendering that you see now is based on my engineering expertise, plus my background in doing engineering technical work, plus my insight from people that I already know in my network. So, but let me walk you through the actual timeline for the LX. And if you don't mind, I'm going to use a good old-fashioned whiteboard again. I know most people don't use this anymore, but hey, in engineering, especially at Toyota, we still use a lot of paper, pencil, and whiteboards. So let me walk you through briefly what the timeline looks like. Previously, I already spoken about the timeline for the TNGA-F platform Toyota trucks and SUVs, which include Land Cruiser, the Tundra, and the 4Runner, and eventually Tacoma. But today, I'm just going to focus on the TNGA-F platform SUVs for Lexus. So that's namely the LX, again, which is the rendering that you see right now, plus the GX. So first, the LX. So we know for sure that Land Cruiser is coming out around July timeframe. July 1st and July 19th are the two dates I heard for dealer reveal, both for gasoline on July 1st and diesel on July 19th. But the Lexus LX is coming a little bit later. So from everything that I know, Based on my insight, the LX should be revealed to us sometime in November timeframe. I'm just going to call it 570 for now. It's probably going to be called something a little bit different. And that should come out sometime in November of this year. That should be revealed to us in a public format sometime around November timeframe, before Christmas. And then by December of this year, we should get the full specification for 570 for the around the December timeframe, before Christmas time. So that the dealership can begin to promote and to maybe even take deposit in the spring of 2022. I don't think the car will actually arrive until the spring of next year, but we'll get to see it around November, December timeframe. So the basic Lexus LX with a twin turbo V6 engine should be coming out again November, December timeframe, and then we should be able to see it in person around spring of next year. Now, spring of next year, all kinds of auto shows are beginning to come back live in the physical format. So they will likely show at either a Chicago Auto Show in February or New York Auto Show in April. We don't know yet exactly when, but it's in that time frame. So by April of next year, the LX should be fully available for anyone who's interested, but still in the 3.5 liter twin turbo version. I think the hybrid will come out very soon, right after that, in the summertime. So I expect the hybrid version of the LX to come out June of 2022, again as a 2023 model year. And that hybrid will likely be a twin turbo 3.5 V6 mated together to two electric motors for a full hybrid version with perhaps more than 550 horsepower. We don't know quite yet those details. So that's the Lexus LX. That's the Lexus LX timeline. By the way, there has been a lot of confusion as to where the LX is built. Most people think it's built at the same factory as the Lexus GX in Tahara, which is an hour and a half from Nagoya. But actually, the LX is an exception. It's built in Yoshiwara factory, which is also in Aichi Prefecture, about hour and a half to 2 hours from Nagoya. So it's built in a different factory from the GX. Most people don't know that. So that one is actually a subsidiary of Toyota and somewhat separated from the traditional Toyota factories. And that's where the LX is being built. So that's the full version for timeline for the LX. And let me talk to you about the GX now. The Lexus GX is based on the 4Runner platform. The Lexus GX in Japan and elsewhere in Asia and Middle East is called the Land Cruiser Prado. So I know it's a bit confusing, the naming, but it is part of the Land Cruiser family, even though it is quite different from the bigger Land Cruiser brother. They are both still based on the same platform and same chassis, and in the new version, they both will be the TNGA-F platform. So in Japan, Asia, elsewhere, it's called the Land Cruiser Prado, and here in North America, it's called the Lexus GX. I've owned a number of Lexus GX as well as a 4Runner, so I'm quite familiar with that, but let me explain to you the timeline. The GX is going to be quite a bit later because it's based on the 4Runner. The 4Runner is coming out the summer of 2022, so sometime June to July timeframe, we will see the 4Runner come out. So that's a brand new body style, a brand new car based on the TNGA-F platform, but it is a shrunken version of the Land Cruiser and the Tundra and the Lexus LX. So the 4Runner will come out for sure summer of next year, and the production will start soon after that. So by the fall of next year, we will get that into dealers' inventory. But the GX will come a few months later, so it'll be exactly 1 year after the LX that we will likely see the GX. So I think the reveal for the Lexus GX will be November 2022, 1 year after the Lexus LX. Okay, so that will be the Lexus GX. With a full reveal with specification and pricing again by December of 2022. It'll be introduced as a 2023 model year. So that's the Lexus GX. Now the big question remains about the powertrain. I think the GX will start off right away as a hybrid, most likely the 3.5 liter twin turbo together with the hybrid system. But that one is a big mystery because even the 4Runner is a mystery at this point in terms of the engine. Would it adopt the twin turbo V6 but detuned version of the Tundra, or would it still carry on with this old 4-liter 6-cylinder engine? We're not quite sure yet. I can tell you that 4-liter 6-cylinder engine is still being offered in the new Land Cruiser, which is called the 300 series, outside Japan. They're going to be actually offering that for Middle East and some Australian market. So it's very possible the new 4Runner might still carry that 4-liter, but that engine will definitely not carry over to the Lexus GX because GX has to be one step above the 4Runner. So my best guess is the GX could be an exclusive hybrid model with a twin turbo V6 hybrid system. So that's my guess. But the basic body style and the body profile and structure will again share with the 4Runner, but just like the current GX versus the 4Runner, the design of the front end, the back end, and some of the body profile will be a little bit different. But underneath, what we call the platform underneath will all be shared for both models. Interior will be different too. So the timeline for GX is going to be, again, November, December of next year. So that's the timeline for LX and GX. I kind of wanted to just focus on these two models, but of course, throughout this year and next year, we have some other interesting models coming out. We have the Lexus NX coming out very soon, no later than fall of this year. Lots of leaked photos already. You already know what that one's going to look like. And you already know it's going to have the RAV4 Prime version as a plug-in hybrid too, so it's pretty exciting. And then you already know also the Lexus IS 500 with the V8 is already announced and coming shortly. So those are some interesting Lexus model. The ES just gone through refresh, and so that's also arriving in a few months. So nothing else for this year for Lexus because they're busy with the NX, refreshed ES, and then IS 500, and then the LX. So that's a pretty full schedule for this year for Lexus. Next year, it's also going to be a busy year with the new Lexus GX, of course, as I mentioned. And toward the end of the year, we might finally see the 3-row, full-size, unitized body, not body on frame, not truck-based, but car-based body, called the Lexus TX. That's been rumored for a long time. And it's going to be based on the Grand Highlander, which is a larger version of the current Highlander. Both the Grand Highlander and the Lexus TX will be produced at Princeton, Indiana factory because the Sequoia, which is being produced there, is being moved over to San Antonio, Texas factory. So, but the TX is likely not coming out until very end of 2022 or early 2023 calendar year. So that one is still some distance away. But this is pretty interesting. Lots of new models coming out in the pipeline. I hope this was useful in terms of learning about the LX and the GX. Finally, I know some people are wondering about the Lexus LQ, which is the flagship high-performance version of the LX. That one is a few years away, so don't hold your breath. That's not coming out next year. Definitely not coming this year. And I think that's going to be like the coupe version of the LX with a potentially a twin turbo V8. I'm holding my breath on that one, but could have a twin turbo V8 still. And that one will be something that will compete with Bentley because it's going to be at the very top of the flagship. So that's most likely 2024 model year. And that one could have some really amazing performance. Which remind me to talk about the twin turbo V8 because that's being in the talks last couple of days with patent application that came out that shows the twin turbo V8 configuration. As I already mentioned in my previous video, that patent application is not a proof or evidence of a Lexus twin turbo V8. I am sure that Toyota already have a prototype or some kind of working concept of a twin turbo V8 because Lexus and Toyota is always developing concept engines and cars and components, just that only a few percentage of those actually come into fruition and become a production model. So they might already be working on a twin turbo V8, but whether that becomes a production model, it's a whole different matter. And perhaps it will become part of the Lexus LQ or a Lexus LCF, which is the high output version of the LC. That's still very possible, but with so much focus on electric vehicles and hybrid and plug-in hybrid, I'm not really convinced that Lexus is going to continue to pump energy and time and money into high output twin turbo V8 engine. I think they're going to focus more and more on electrification. Just like many other car companies have already announced they're going to stop developing new gasoline engines, I think it's only a matter of time Toyota will slowly back off from gasoline engines and focus on electric cars. So anyway, that's a pretty good summary of hopefully helpful for you. More information to come about Lexus and Toyota and everything to do with the Japanese market. Again, it's David Chao from Automotive Press. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying in my channel, and I look forward to catching up with you again shortly. Good night and have a good weekend, everyone.